You wouldn't think dumbbells could spark a suburban war. But that's exactly what happened on Willow Creek Lane, where an HOA rule about neighborhood aesthetics spiraled into something far bigger than anyone expected. It all began with a man named Ethan Miller, a 42-year-old fitness coach who worked from home. Ethan wasn't loud, wasn't messy, and wasn't the type to stir up drama. He had a quiet life with his wife, Rachel, and their 2 kids. His only real passion outside family was fitness. Since the pandemic years, Ethan had gotten used to training clients in his garage and sometimes outside in the yard. He'd set up a small pull-up bar, a squat rack, and some free weights under a shade canopy. It wasn't fancy, just a setup to keep himself and a few neighbors active. But for the HOA president, Linda Garrison, it was an eyesore. Linda was in her late 50s with a sharp bob haircut, pearl earrings, and an attitude that could curdle milk. To her, the sight of kettlebells on grass was nothing short of neighborhood treason. One Tuesday morning, Ethan found the letter taped to his door. Notice of violation. All workout equipment must be removed from outdoor spaces within 72 hours. Failure to comply will result in fines. Ethan chuckled at first. Surely this was a misunderstanding. Who could possibly care that much about a pull-up bar in the corner of his yard? But when he attended the HOA meeting that Thursday, Linda made it crystal clear. "This neighborhood has standards," she said, her voice tight as she clicked through slides on a projector. "Leaving workout gear outside is not only unsightly, it diminishes property values. Willow Creek is not a public gym." The room chuckled nervously, but Ethan raised his hand. "With all due respect, Linda, I'm not running a gym. I'm training my neighbors. I'm helping people stay healthy." Linda gave a thin smile. "Rules are rules, Mr. Miller. If you want to exercise, that's what basements are for." That was the spark. The next day, Ethan decided he wouldn't back down. Instead of packing away the weights, he doubled down. He moved more equipment into the yard, battle ropes, medicine balls, resistance bands, and texted a few neighbors. "Work out at my place Saturday morning. Free for anyone who wants to join." By Saturday, 5 people showed up. By the following week, there were a dozen. Mothers with strollers, dads in sweatbands, even a couple of teenagers from down the block. Ethan transformed his lawn into a makeshift community fitness hub. Music played from a Bluetooth speaker, mats were rolled out across the grass, and laughter mixed with grunts as people tried to keep up with the circuits. Neighbors loved it. For once, people who had barely spoken outside of block parties were cheering each other on through burpees and planks. One woman, Sarah, told Ethan, "I've lived here 10 years and never met half these people. You've done more for this neighborhood in 2 weeks than the HOA ever has." Of course, Linda saw things differently. She marched down the street with her clipboard, snapping photos like a paparazzi with a vendetta. She sent letters, raised fines, and threatened legal action. "This is a violation of community standards," she hissed when Ethan confronted her one evening. "No, Linda," Ethan shot back, sweat dripping after finishing a round of jump squats. "This is community." The story might have stayed small if it weren't for a local news station. Someone, maybe Sarah, maybe one of the teens, sent in a tip about a neighborhood fitness rebellion. A reporter showed up, camera in tow, and filmed the Saturday workout. Within days, the clip was online. Local HOA tries to ban outdoor workouts. Community fights back. It exploded. With the media's spotlight, Ethan's yard became a symbol. Neighbors from outside Willow Creek showed up to join the workouts. Cars lined the street. A Facebook group popped up. Free fitness, free spirit. Local businesses even donated gear. Yoga mats, resistance bands, and water bottles. What started as a small act of defiance turned into a movement. But with momentum came pressure. The HOA board called an emergency meeting. Linda, fuming, waved a stack of papers at the crowd. "Mr. Miller is in clear violation of Article 14, Section B. Outdoor commercial activity is forbidden. He is profiting from this circus." "I haven't charged a single dollar," Ethan said, standing tall. "This is free. This is neighbors helping neighbors." The room buzzed. Some residents cheered, others muttered nervously. A man named Tom, one of Linda's closest allies, shouted, "You're disturbing the peace. My wife can't nap with all that music." A woman in the back called out, Maybe she should try joining us instead of napping." The room erupted in laughter. Linda slammed her gavel. "Enough. If Mr. Miller refuses to comply, the HOA will take legal action. We will protect this community's standards." Ethan didn't flinch. "And I'll protect this community's people." The battle lines were drawn. Over the next few weeks, the HOA escalated tactics. They issued daily fines totaling thousands of dollars. They had a tow truck remove Ethan's pull-up bar, calling it unauthorized construction. They even filed a complaint with the county, alleging Ethan was operating an unlicensed fitness business. But every time they struck, Ethan adapted. When they banned weights, he switched to bodyweight workouts. When they shut down music, neighbors sang clapping chants to keep rhythm. When they threatened lawsuits, Ethan's friend, Betty Lawson, a retired lawyer who hated the HOA's arrogance, stepped in to represent him pro bono. The media loved it. Headlines spread, "HOA versus fitness coach, the suburban showdown." News crews camped outside. Talk radio debated it. A late-night host even cracked a joke about Linda being allergic to push-ups. Linda, once the untouchable queen of Willow Creek, was now a national punchline. By spring, the tension reached a boiling point. The HOA called for a decisive vote. Should outdoor workout equipment be permanently banned, or should residents be allowed to use their yards as they please? The meeting drew the largest turnout in HOA history. Dozens of neighbors packed the clubhouse, with cameras rolling. Linda stood at the podium, pearls gleaming, voice trembling with controlled fury. "This neighborhood is not a circus. We must preserve order, beauty, and peace. If we allow this gym free-for-all, what's next? Petting zoos, food trucks, chaos." Ethan stepped forward. He didn't shout, didn't wave his arms. He just spoke plainly. "I'm not asking to turn Willow Creek into a carnival. I'm asking to let people be people. We've hidden behind fences and rules for too long. These workouts gave us something rules never could: connection. I've seen neighbors cheering for each other, helping each other, laughing together. Isn't that what community is supposed to mean?" The room went silent. Then someone clapped. Then another. Within moments, half the room was on its feet, applauding. When the vote was cast, it wasn't even close. The residents sided with Ethan. Outdoor fitness within reasonable limits would be allowed. The fines were dropped. The community gym was here to stay. Linda, red-faced, stormed out of the room, muttering about appealing the decision. But the truth was clear. Her power had broken. The neighborhood had chosen unity over pettiness. Months later, Willow Creek was famous for something no HOA newsletter had ever imagined. The Front Yard Fitness Club became a local attraction. People from nearby communities visited for weekend workouts. News crews came back to show the happy, sweaty faces of neighbors who had once been strangers. And Ethan? He never charged a dime. "Health should be free," he told reporters, and so should community. As for Linda, she was rarely seen outside anymore. Some said she'd taken up yoga in her basement, away from the prying eyes of the world. But every Saturday morning, as the neighborhood gathered to squat, push, and laugh together, you couldn't help but wonder if she ever peeked out her window, watching the very thing she'd tried to destroy become the soul of Willow Creek. Because in the end, the HOA didn't crush Ethan's rebellion. It created it,